Hi, ladies and gents. I've just come in from a couple of hours of work in the garden with Brendan today. Brenda's home for his spring vacation. And between Brendan and Aiden, they've been helping me no end. And this morning, we did quite a bit of planting tomato plants. Brendan planted the rest of my tulip bulbs. He watered the garden because the sprinkler's broken. We have to get a new little box. The box. Thank you. Broken. I forget the name of one of you ladies who reminded me that now that Brendan is home, I've got to make his favorite pasta. And what'd you say, Brendan?
It's crazy how they remember. It's the attention to detail.
Isn't it?
It's always been my favorite. Yeah, it's awesome.
So today I will make Brendan. He still has about 4 or 5 more days left of spring break. So garden looking good. And I even have 2 tiny tomatoes. Look at this plant we planted. This is an early girl, and it has quite a few buds on it. This one is a beefsteak. I'm really anxious to see this one come up. This is a good one. It's not big, but it has a lot of promise to it. One of them has little tomatoes, right there, a tomato. And would you believe it's now down in the low 60s? Thus, I'm back into my jeans. But we did so much out there, and he helped me. He also got some tubs ready for me to do the other job, which I'm still doing, by the way, and I will get back to it after I film this. And I have my little Sesame Street jeans shirt on that Colleen bought me when she was 16 years old and working in a Sesame Street store in Brea Mall. Can you believe that? I don't even think they have Sesame Street stores anymore. But she got a great deal for her mommy, and that Christmas, I got this nice big jean shirt. Now, Colleen is 48 now. Can you believe it? So in this video, it's sort of a, what do you do after you do 3 hours of gardening and you're 87 years old? So stay tuned, ladies, and you'll find out. You think it's predictable. I might be back on the bed, but believe it or not, I still have something else that I wanted to tell you about. The warm weather disappeared. For the past couple days, it's been a combination of gray May and gloom June. Exactly. We have no sunshine and no heat out there. All that lovely weather of last week disappeared. But why do we always talk about the weather? I don't know. But it's also about 1 o'clock, and I fasted until 12:30 today. But I'm going to cut a couple of pieces up now, toast it a bit, and put some jam on it. Moosey wants some jam. He's sitting outside. So I'm going to do that now. She does about 8 loaves a week and gives them to her mom, sisters, and isn't this great? So basically, I just warmed up a slice. It's quite large, as you can see. Just warmed up a slice, just a little bit. Toasted it, but it just warmed it, made it nice and hot. Put some of Bonnie's huckleberry jam on, and I'm going to bring a piece out to Moosey and one for me. My breakfast at 12:30. You know, I really can't decide how many sweaters I want to put away. Probably the bulk of them, because I won't be wearing sweaters every day. But we are due for some more rain next week. And I've kept some sweaters out for these days that are downright chilly. Well, we were working for so long, so it's not so chilly right now. But I know Moosey's out there all bundled up in his vest again. Go figure. Well, here's what you do after you come in from a couple of hours of gardening and you're in your senior years. You don't flop right on the bed right away. So I went into the bathroom. First of all, I cleaned myself up with the soap and the scrubbing brush to the elbows. And of course, I am very bad about wearing gloves. As a matter of fact, Brendan and I were hunting around for gloves this morning, but I didn't get my nails too bad. But, you know, gardening does take a toll on your hands and your nails. But you know what? My hands have been wrinkled since I'm 21 years old anyway, and I can always clean up my nails, like I did just a little while ago after putting some lotion on my hands and on my face. Maybe I'd put some polish on these nails, and it's a light polish. And I'm sorry, ladies, it's all worn off. I can't tell the name. It's on there, but that label is upside down. Maybe it's on here somewhere. Nope. It's hard to read, but it's a very light, sort of a whitish, and I think it's good for now. My nails are suffering a little bit from the gardening, but it's okay. We're getting good things done. And I'm finishing up my wonderful piece of sourdough bread from Tessie with a little bit of jam on it this morning. Now, I was out there gardening with nothing on my face, but I realized that had to be spruced up a little bit before I talked with you. So what I did, I decided to just spruce myself up a little bit, and then later on in the afternoon, this evening, or usually I like to take a shower bright in the morning, and that's probably what I'll do tomorrow morning. But this morning, Brendan was here quite early, so that didn't happen. Now, I think I've told you that I'm kind of in the market for a new lipstick, and I had a whole bag of my lipsticks out. I don't know what I did with them. Here they are. I have lipsticks galore that I've tried out. Some good ones, some not so good ones. Some Dollar Trees, some that worked, some that didn't. And I seem to have a lot of the same shade. Now, I am almost positive that I bought some what's called copper chrome. It was a lipstick that my daughters and I wore 30, 40 years ago. When I wanted a nice copper color. And I do like that chrome look or that shine. I don't like wet lipsticks that are sticky. I just can't stand those on my lips. But believe it or not, I love the Revlon lipsticks. And I was talking about Coral Kiss, another lipstick that my daughters and I wore years and years ago. I think it was a Revlon, I'm not too sure. And I've still been looking, and several of you ladies, my friends, said to me that there are one or two still called Coral Kiss, might be Revlon. Somebody even gave you the number, 750. I remember that number. And then a couple of other coral lipsticks that had a coral look to them but had different names. So thank you. I am going to look into them and maybe try some coral lipsticks. Now, this morning, I tried to do a coral look just a little while ago, and I couldn't find any coral lipsticks in that great big bag. So what I did was I put a fairly nude color, and I think this is the one, on the bottom. And then I thought, okay, I'm going to try and, like when you mix paints and crayons when you were in grade school, remember the rules, the certain ones that made different colors. Of course, I used to teach that to my little kids in school all the time. But this time I tried to make a coral, and that's not one of the rules. And I found one of my red, Hollywood red lipsticks, I believe, and I tried to put it on top. And it did give it somewhat of a coral look, I think, or at least not the usual iced amethyst dark look that I do. But guess what happened? The top one was kind of greasy, and then I took one of those little wands that had a little bit of reddish pink on there, and I put that sticky wet lipstick, you know, the ones with the wands on, what do they call that, gel, lip gel or something. And I looked in my mirror and I turned it to the magnification side here. And what do you think I saw? Bleeding lips. Now, I have never had that with my Revlon Iced Amethyst or a nice dryish lipstick that has cream in it, but not these sticky gel ones. And I never really noticed too many of a blur lines, but I looked in and, oh yes, I saw them. So I quickly wiped that off and put a line of my iced amethyst, hoping it will keep the bleed from happening. So what you have to do after you work for 3 hours in the garden and you are lifting pots and dirt, you're getting your exercise, you're bending, you're being flexible, Then you have to maybe rest for 5 or 10 minutes. That's when I put my polish on. And I couldn't see the name. Usually I like to tell you, but it's a nice pale one, and it should last. As you know, I had been going without polish on my nails because I wanted to kind of nourish them. And I've been putting castor oil and coconut oil and any kind of greasy creams on them and leaving my nails free. I think it's been almost a week now of nourishing them. So they're looking pretty good. And they're not looking bad, are they? Really, except for my poor arthritic fingers. I have two, and I think I have a third one going now. I hope they all don't go bent on me. The castor oil, by the way, is helping with the pain in this one. This was the one that started a year ago on this hand, and I hardly have any pain left in it. And look, I can even move it straight up now, too. That castor oil must help. I don't think it makes the arthritis go away, but this one has gotten pretty bad, and it kind of hurts to try and straighten it. But if that's all that's going to get me, I'm thankful, believe me. Now, so after you've been gardening and you're still not going anyplace, you're still going to be around the cottage, but you want to feel comfortable and you want to feel good about yourself, what do? Well, you don't put the heavy makeup on, right? Because it's just not necessary. I don't even think I have to go out today at all. Maybe tomorrow. So I dug through some of my makeups, and I remember that one of the ones that I started with, when I started wearing foundation at 82, I didn't know what I was doing. I was copying people on YouTube, but I didn't want to go high-end makeup. So I learned about e.l.f. and that the ingredients are pretty good, and many people recommended it, especially people that knew a lot about cosmetics and the ingredients and so forth and so on. And so I started buying e.l.f. I bought e.l.f. primers and e.l.f. Blushes. In fact, I still use this blush. It's a $5 blush, and I still love it more than anything. I did have an e.l.f. bronzer, but that's gone, and I didn't get back to bronzing. I use other e.l.f. products as well, but mainly what I did today, I decided I'd go with this. And this is a little pump, and it's light. It's a good light color too. It's not dark. And I have always used my fingers. I somehow can't get into using brushes. And that's how it comes out. Now, I already have it on. Now, it does not cover as well as the Wet n Wild does. And I did graduate in the winter to a heavier, well, it's not really heavy at all. It's lovely, and everybody loved it as much as e.l.f., and it's not expensive at all. And I used that Wet n Wild Dewy Finish, Photo Finish Dewy foundation. And I didn't have to put much on, but boy, it did cover all those Jersey Shore little boo-boos on my cheeks and did give me some pretty good coverage. But for these days, in the summer, I think I might be going back to this lighter. It's really a primer, isn't it? I didn't realize that, but I didn't have to go over much other than take a little bit of my I think this is Wet n Wild, and maybe give it a dot or two on one or two of the spots, and they seem to go away. I also did a little bit on the lines down here. Now, I'm not doing makeup for anybody today except myself. That's it. I think I can take my hat off now, can I? Still have the pigtails on. Gardening is a pigtail day, that's for sure. Now, I have to tell you that L'Oreal Paris highlighter stick that I've used for, well, ever since I started wearing makeup 4 years ago, I guess. And I love my glow. I've always loved a glow. I call it the J-Lo glow, but I think for a mature face, I'd like to see a bit of a glow. To me, it's a little more youthful looking and more alive looking. And so if I can't accomplish that naturally, then I will use a glow stick. So I found these. I can't even remember because I didn't buy them recently. I've had them in my stash. can't remember the names of these, but I'll try and find the name and eventually tell you what they are. But this is a nice, sort of a white, shiny glow stick. Put it on my nose, my chin, my forehead, and up both cheeks. And so I did that this morning too. And that's about enough for a good day, other than my eyes. Now, I have to tell you a funny story about my makeup. Oh gosh, this was last week or before that. I was sitting here putting makeup on one morning, and I had my Milani tubing makeup. Remember the tubing makeup, which I've worn for months and months now and loved. I really do love it. And so I had the wand in my hand, and I had the actual tube of the mascara in the other hand. And Moosey said, "Quick, I need this." I don't even remember what it was, but when I hear "quick," I run. Do you know, I still had this in my hand when I took care of whatever it was. I have never been able to find the tube anywhere. I don't know whether I dropped it. I didn't go outside. It is somewhere here. I hope it's not in the cat litter. No, it's not in the cat litter. But I have never been able to find the tube. So this is gone. And I have been using an Essence mascara since then and love it. It's one of the ones that I have. I have quite a few different mascaras that I bought once to do comparisons. And I quite like this one. So this is what I've been using. So now I'm all cleaned up. Have some mascara on.
Good.
Lucy, did it get too cold out there for you?
So what, honey?
Did it get too cold?
No, just boring.
Just boring. No more birds? What are you looking at?
Looking at the carrots.
Oh, I have to show you something. He stopped to look at my new floral arrangement, which I must show you. But yes, the birds need to be refilled. I forgot to have Brendan do it this morning. So Brendan goes back to school. I can't believe it. What did he say, Saturday or Sunday? So I think I'll have Aiden come over on Saturday, and Aiden does his thing. He knows just what to do when he comes in here. He's so great. Knows how to work that vacuum. Now, I stopped by Margie's school yesterday, and I haven't told this to Moosey yet. So listen to this, Moosey. I stopped by, Margie's a school nurse. I think I told you that. And it's quite nearby, 10 or 15 minutes away. And the day before, when we were at Molly's for the lovely brunch, as you know, I've told you many times that a lot of my lovely clothes come from Debbie. Debbie has a high-powered job and meets with donors and clients, and she's head of the foundation for a big hospital. So she meets with donors and people all the time and needs a good wardrobe. And I've shown you things that people say, "Oh, where did you get that?" And I say, "Oh, my daughter Dub gave it to me." Sometimes they still have the labels on them. She does buy from upscale catalogs sometimes. Sometimes she goes into other stores, buys beautiful blazers and skirts and whatever. And I am the recipient for a lot of her clothes. She is a purger as well. And I know it frustrates you when I get something from my daughter, especially when I get some Ralph Lauren things or something, and I don't know where they came from. But what was I starting to say? Oh, Margie. So this time, Dub arrived at Molly's. She came to the brunch too with 3 big shopping bags full of clothes, 3 of them. And she said to me right away, "Nope. They're for Margie." And I was almost relieved in a way, because I have so many clothes and a lot of them do come from her. And I'm trying to purge a little bit. So I said, "Okay, that's all right. I'm not upset." She said, "Now don't go through them." "I won't." She said, "I put them in your car. And if you get a chance to stop by and see Margie, could you please drop them off?" Margie was talking with Dub one day, and she said, "Why do I always get the leftovers from Mom's going through them?" Because Debbie said, "Well, I give Mom the clothes, and she takes what she wants. And then what I don't want, I pass on to Margie." So this time, Dub decided to give 3 big giant things to Margie, and that I was not to even peek in them at all. So yesterday morning, on my way out to buy tomato plants at Lowe's, I went right by Margie's school, and it was somewhere around lunchtime. So I thought, well, maybe she's on her lunch break. I can stop. So I parked right in front of the school, and I called her from my phone. I said, Margie, I'm outside with some clothes. And she said, Debbie has already called me and told me that you're going to drop some off. So she said, I'll be right out. So she ran out in her cute, this time she had pink. She wears those nurse two-piece uniforms. They don't dress up anymore in whites and pretty hats. I remember when Margie was when she graduated as an RN, she had the beautiful nurse hat and the beautiful white outfits with the trim, but no more. They all wear these, I forget what you call them, not workouts, but there's a name for what the nurses wear. But it was a cute outfit. So I got out of the car and I opened the back of the car and I said, look, there's 3 of them. I said, I thought she only put 2 in my car. And Margie laughed. She said, ooh, I'm in for something. So right away on the top of one of them, I saw this tan suede something, and it had a fringe. And I said, oh, and Margie howled. So I held it up, and it was a vest, a Western vest that had some fringe on it. And I said, oh, I love this. Margie looked at it. She said, okay, I'll give that to you. That's the one thing you can have. So I pulled out the vest. I don't know when I'll wear it, but I loved it. Maybe it'll go along with my boho look, and I'll find a way to wear it. And I didn't peek in anything else. And Margie, we had a little fun visit, and then she went back in. So that's my story about my stubby stash of clothes this week. So back to, what does a mature lady do after she finishes her gardening in the morning? She washes really well, puts a little makeup on, puts a little nail polish on, and then has a little snack and goes back out, because now I have to finish the sweater job. I've already carried out bundles of sweaters. I've saved a few because I'm not relying on this weather to be beautiful for the next couple of weeks. I am positive that we have some rain coming. It's been predicted. In fact, I even went into the Farmer's Almanac and I looked up the weather for our region. And other than an unusually hot summer, I'm not looking forward to that, and late spring, we do have a lot of that May gray, June gloom early, believe it or not, in March and April. Anyway, I'm keeping some sweaters in the house because it's chilly, and at night it gets down in the 50s. So I'm not full spring summer yet. After I get my sweaters done, I'm sure that will be me for the day. I have to tell you what we had for supper last night. I know a lot of you are going to be jelly. So last night we had French onion soup. Yes, ladies, I know you're jelly because I know all of you love that. You've started feeding it to your hubbies. They love it. And I probably should have filmed it again, but I was so anxious to get to it. I started in right away as I came home from getting the tomato plants, and I did a little food shopping, and I just wanted to get started right away. It was about 4 o'clock. So this time I used fresh mozzarella. I had quite a big log of it, and it was sliced fresh mozzarella. Now, normally, whenever I use mozzarella cheese, I always use the low moisture, the hard ball. And there must be a difference, because when I melted the slices of cheese, which were about this big, I put a couple on top of the French bread. After I put all my own onions in, you know how I do it. And next time I'll film it again. But I did put loads of my, I think I used an onion and a half or an onion and 3/4. I put into the normal Progresso French onion soup, consommé. And then in the end, after I put the big lump of French bread on, I put a lot of the mozzarella. I also take a handful of the shredded mozzarella and sort of put it down under the bread just to kind of cheese it up inside. Well, I put it in the micro and it got real nice and hot. And then I did it again a little. And I noticed that the fresh mozzarella did not bleed and get as melty as the hard one. Anyone can explain that difference to me. Tell me. I'm sure I could look up Mr. Google, but it was just as good, except that I did notice that that fresh mozzarella did not melt as much as the other one did. Well, anyway, that's a supper that we could have once a week and be happy. And the other one that I bought 2 boxes of fresh cut mushrooms, and we're going to do that cream of mushroom soup, and I put tons of my own mushrooms in, and that's another wonderful soup that we make. This time I use that Campbell's, the big family can. Now I have to share something very special with you, and I created it, but I have to confess, I did see someone do this on YouTube. So, can you see what this is? I'll get up close. Those are fresh carrots that go all the way up to the top, and they have to have the tops on them. This is all carrot top. I filled up a vase that is tall, thin, and of course, clear glass. So you put your carrots in with water right up so that the water does reach the stems and keep them fresh. And then look what you put in. Well, I've been so upset because there's been no tulips around anywhere. I looked in my stash boxes outside of florals and things, and I found these. Moosey didn't even know these were fake tulips. But isn't this a cute idea and decoration for an Easter table? Is this cute or what? Don't forget the water if you do it, and I hope that you can find some real tulips someplace. Cute. I just had to share this with you. Well, while it still is early afternoon and I can quit by mid-afternoon and feel as if I've done my job today and gotten some workout in, I do want to rest, and looking forward to that this afternoon. So I still have some sweater work. I've taken the sweaters out, but I have to fold them and put them away. I still have some more. I've done 1 tub full and I have some more. So left. There they go. There's a lot of them. 2 tubs, and then I have a tub of Christmas and holiday sweaters. I think that's enough. Now, where would you put all your sweaters, ladies? And I have all the lids for these too. Lucy just reminded me that I have to get busy and start making that pasta salad for Brendan. He does love it, and you know who else loves it too, me. But I think I have all the ingredients, so I don't have to go out. The pasta is cooked. I've got the celery and the onions, the cheddar cheese, and the pepperoni. It looks like a mature lady does not go and lie down on her bed when she finishes gardening in the morning, or when she finishes putting her sweaters away. She comes into the kitchen and she wants to start that cold pasta salad for her grandson, Brendan. I mix this in with the cold pasta salad with the mayo because it just gives it a zesty taste. Pepperoni here, and I slice it up. Cheddar cheese, lots of that. Mayo, zesty Italian. What else? Celery, onions. And if I had the black olives, I'd put them in. Maybe Colleen has some and she can add them in. But I wanted to give this to Brendan in the morning so he can start eating it. Sometimes he has it for breakfast like I do. A couple more big spoonfuls of this. A dash more of the zesty Italian. And there you have it. Nanny's cold pasta for Brendan. And Shannon, by the way, she likes it too. In here, I put oregano, I put some garlic powder, and anything to just make it taste good. your preference. You know, the herbs kind of fancy it up with a little green and red too, don't they? Now to taste. I think it's great. Could use the olives, but I get the crunch from the celery and the onions. Don't forget the herbs. They do dress it up, that's for sure. It's good. It's going in the refrigerator and tomorrow to him. So to answer the question, what does one do after gardening for 3 hours and bringing sweaters outside, putting them in tubs, and talking on a video to you ladies? Does she rest? Apparently today she doesn't. I just had to get this pasta made for Brendan. I hope that you've enjoyed this. This is just another every simple day around the cottage with Nanny and Moose. And at the same time, it's fulfilling for me. It's fulfilling those requirements of mobility, keeping busy, enjoying a hobby, which I am enjoying my planting, because you always have something to look forward to when you're planting something like tomatoes or onions or any kind of a vegetable, right? What are you all doing with your workouts? Are you doing some of those kitchen workouts that I showed you that only take 5 minutes in the morning? Actually, you can do it while you're standing waiting for your coffee to brew. It's really good. And it's those simple ones of balance. As always, I so appreciate you watching all our videos and enjoying them. A lot of you have started to go back and binge some of our older ones. I think we're now up to almost 650 videos that I've done in the past 4 years. I've done so many different videos on the children as in all the stages of growing up. Our large family of 6 children, 3 boys, 3 girls, 20 grandchildren, going on 17 great-grandchildren now. So we do appreciate all of your comments and the fact that you are enjoying our channel. Those of you who have not subscribed yet, come on, be part of our family. I would so appreciate it. I'll see you real soon, my friends. Bye for now, and God bless us all.